Hello, and welcome to a new video tutorial. This video is a short overview of UiCore Blocks, the UiCore builder made for Gutenberg. We'll go through the main parts of the interface one by one, so you can clearly see where each tool is and how it's used. The focus will be on quick actions, blocks, the navigator, the toolbar, settings, responsive views, states, global settings, and the design cloud. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of the builder layout and how each section works together. Let's get started. When you first open the UI Core Builder, you'll see a set of tools arranged from left to right across the interface. Let's quickly walk through them. On the far left, you'll find the Quick Actions bar, which gives you easy access to your most used blocks. Next to it is the Blocks panel, where you'll see the full list of elements available for building your page. Moving along, there's the Navigator, which provides a structured view of all the blocks on your page, making it easier to move between them. Right next to it is the Design Cloud button, where you can access the full library of ready-made templates and sections. On the top bar, you'll see the Responsive States selector, the Element States tool, and the Global Settings. And finally, just below, you'll find the Settings and Style tabs, where you can customize every detail of the blocks you've added to your page. Now let's go into a bit more detail about each of the elements we just introduced. Let's take a look at the Blocks panel. This is where you'll find all the elements you can use to build your page, and it's really the first place you'll go when starting something new. On the left side, you'll see the full list of UI core blocks. They're divided into 4 groups: Basic, Composite, Dynamic, and Advanced. Basic blocks cover the essentials, things like text, images, and buttons. Composite blocks give you more flexibility since you can edit the sub-elements of each block separately. Dynamic blocks are great for building things like post grids and other layouts that pull in content automatically. And finally, advanced blocks are there for more complex layouts and functionality. In the next videos, we'll go through these more complex blocks one by one, so you can clearly understand how each of them works. To add a block, all you need to do is drag it from this panel and drop it onto the canvas. You can place it inside an existing section or create a new one. Once the block is on the page, you can start customizing it using the settings on the right-hand side. When you select a block in the editor, you'll see a toolbar appear just above it. This toolbar gives you formatting options, along with some special controls for the block. Those extra controls are only available here in the toolbar. On the left side, you'll see the transform option. This lets you switch a block from one type to another. Next, there's the highlight text button, which you can use to emphasize specific words or phrases inside a text block. Here, you can edit things like font, color, and underline text. You'll also see the dynamic content button. This allows you to connect your block to dynamic fields like post titles or custom data, so the content updates automatically. Another useful option is the inline image button, which lets you insert an image directly inside your text, keeping it part of the same block. On the right-hand side of the editor, you'll find the Settings panel, which changes depending on the block you have selected. Inside the Settings tab, the first thing you'll notice is the specific settings for that block. These are unique options that apply only to the type of block you're working with. Right under that, you'll see the shortcut settings. These are a collection of the most commonly used options, taken directly from the Styling tab and placed here for convenience. Things like display, direction, alignment, gaps, and spacing. The idea is to save you time by putting the essentials where you need them most. Below the shortcut section, you'll also find some advanced settings. These are additional controls that let you manage things like visibility, add classes, set custom attributes, and more. Next to the Settings tab is the Style tab. This is where you control all the visual properties of the block. To keep everything consistent and easy to use, the Style tab works the same way across all blocks. First, we have the Layout panel. This controls how the block is structured, with options like display type, flex direction, and alignment. Next is Size, where you can adjust width, height, and min or max values to control how the block scales. In the Background panel, we get a very useful feature. You can add multiple background layers, and each layer can be a solid color, an image, or a gradient. This allows for really flexible designs. Moving on to typography, here you can set fonts, weights, line height, letter spacing, and all text-related properties. In border and shadow, you can add borders with custom styles and radiuses, and also apply drop shadows to create depth. The position panel lets you control how the block is placed on the page, with options for absolute, relative, fixed, and sticky positioning. Effects gives you extra visual styling options. Things like blending modes, filters, transforms, and even custom cursors. In the animations panel, you can add entrance or scroll effects and even adjust the timing to create more dynamic designs. And finally, there's custom CSS where you can write your own code if you need styling beyond what the panels offer. Next, let's look at the controls for responsive and states. The responsive selector is straightforward. You can switch between desktop, tablet, and mobile views to see how your layout adapts across devices. While you're in one of these views, you can make adjustments specific to that screen size. For example, changing font size or spacing. You'll notice that most of the settings you see for desktop are also available on tablet and mobile. That's really helpful because it means you can make big design changes across devices without needing to write any custom CSS. Whenever you change a setting on mobile, that option will be marked with a small green dot. This tells you that the value has been customized for that specific device, and if you want to revert that change, just click on the green dot. Next, right after the responsive button, we have the element state button. This allows you to switch between different states of a block: default, hover, and active. The default state is how the block looks normally, the hover state is what happens when the user moves the mouse over it, and the active state is how it looks when it's selected or clicked, depending on the element. For example, if you want a button to change color when someone hovers over it, you select the button, switch to the hover state, and then change its background color. That style will only apply when the button is hovered. Another useful option you'll notice is the Inherit Hover button. You'll recognize it by the small cursor icon. When this option is active, the hover effect of a block is inherited from its parent container. For example, let's look at this container that has text and a button. Normally, the button would only react when the mouse is directly over it. But if you want the button to react when the user hovers over the entire container, simply switch the button to the hover state, then click the Inherit Hover button. Now, whenever someone hovers anywhere over the whole container, the button will also show its hover style. Another example is with the Tabs block. Let's say you want the title of the currently opened tab to have a different color. To do that, you select the tab title, switch to the active state, and then adjust the color. Now, whenever that tab is open, the title will automatically use the style you've set. Now let's go over the global settings. The first part here is the global styles. This is where you can define your site-wide typography, colors, and layout. You'll also find these options inside the theme settings, but having them directly in the page, Editor makes it much faster to adjust them while you're working. Any changes you make here will apply across your whole site, keeping everything consistent. Next, we have the editor settings. These don't affect your website itself, but rather how the editor looks and works for you. From here, you can turn the Quick Actions bar on or off, switch between light and dark mode for the editor, and enable the small left sidebar if you prefer a more compact workspace. Next, let's look at the Quick Actions bar. This is simply a quick way to access the blocks you use most often. Think of it as a shortcut menu for your favorite elements. By clicking on the small Settings button inside the Quick Actions bar, you can add new blocks to the list, remove the ones you don't need, or rearrange them in any order that works best for you. Finally, let's take a look at the Design Cloud. The Design Cloud is a library of ready-made templates and pre-built sections that you can import directly into your page. Instead of starting from a blank canvas, you can browse through the available designs, pick the one that fits your needs, and insert it with a single click. The important thing to know is that every block and page in the design cloud is built using global settings. That means when you insert a template, it automatically adapts to your current typography, colors, and layout styles. Besides that, this live preview that you see when you open it has your own global styles applied so you know exactly how the design will look before adding it to your page. Once it's on your page, everything is fully editable. You can change the text, update the images, adjust the colors, and make it match your project. And that's the complete overview of the UiCore Blocks interface. We've gone through all the main tools, from quick actions, blocks, and the navigator, to the toolbar, settings, responsive views, states, global options, and the design cloud. With this foundation, you now know where everything is and how each part of the builder works. In the next videos, we'll dive deeper into individual features and show you how to use them step by step. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.